This video is meant to be completed alongside the slides in your interactive anatomy notebook. Um, this video will be for slides 5 through 7, all about different terms of relative position. So these terms are used to describe where body parts and different body regions are compared to others. When we use terms of relative position, it's really important that we have a starting point, and this starting point is known as anatomical position. This means the body is standing up, face forwards, arms down by your side, and your palms facing forward up to the sky, so that your thumbs are towards the outside of the body. All of the terms that are going to pop up on the next slide assume that the body is positioned in this way. So these are the different terms of relative position. The first that I want to point out is that you might notice that the left and right side are different than your left or right. That is because if we want to imagine that we are doctors and we are looking at a patient, we are describing the patient's left or right side, not our left or right side. So their left and right is going to be the opposite of you if they are facing you. Then we also have this imaginary midline that runs right to the middle of our body. And I also want to point out that this person is standing in the anatomical position. She's standing up and her palms are facing forward. So these terms are all opposites. Superior means above, inferior means below. So for example, our head is superior compared to our feet. Our head is above our feet. Our mouth is inferior to our nose because it is below the nose. Medial versus lateral. Medial means closer to this imaginary midline. Lateral means further away from the imaginary midline. So for example, your heart, which is just slightly off center in your chest, is medial compared to your lungs, which are closer to the outer edges. Your pinkies are medial to your thumbs in anatomical position, because they are closer to the midline, and your thumbs would be lateral because they are closer to the outside. This is why anatomical position is so important, because if your hands were flipped the opposite direction, now your thumbs are medial. And so this is the standard starting point for all these terms. If you put your arms above your head, now all of a sudden your arms are superior to your head, when in anatomical position they are inferior to your head. So always from anatomical position. Proximal and distal. These two terms often get mixed up with medial and lateral, but these two terms only refer to your arms and legs. Proximal means closer to your torso. Distal means further away from your torso. So your elbow is proximal compared to your fingers. Your ankle is distal compared to your knee, further away from the torso. Dorsal ventral. Dorsal means across the back, like if you can think of the dorsal fin of a shark, it's along the back. Ventral means on the belly. In humans, these words are also used anterior and posterior. Anterior means towards the front. Posterior means towards the back. These mean the same things in humans because the front of our bodies is the same as our belly side, and same with the back of our bodies being the same as our backside. But in four-legged animals, they do not mean the same thing. Like if we were to look at this horse, a four-legged animal, the belly side would be down here, ventral, dorsal would be along the back, anterior near the front of the animal, and posterior near the back. Superficial versus deep. Superficial means closer to the skin, and deep means more internal in the body. So, for example, your muscles are superficial to your bones. Your bones are deeper in your body compared to your muscles. Another example would be your spinal cord is deep compared to your vertebrae. Vertebrae are bones that are along your back, and the spinal cord is inside of those bones, so those would be deeper. Ipsilateral versus contralateral. Ipsilateral means same side, contralateral means opposite sides. So your right eye and right ear are ipsilateral. Your right ear and left eye are contralateral, opposite sides. Bilateral means you have one on each side. So your eyes are bilateral, your lungs are bilateral, your kidneys are bilateral. Anything that you have two on each side of the midline is bilateral.